Hi, Andre again here. Welcome to our 2-minute unit price audit. We know that the ability to ensure that our unit pricing, at least in terms of policy, remains consistent and adhered to is critical to our profitability. Let's see how we can do this within sort of roughly the 2 minutes. Give me a little margin for error as such. We'll move straight into our products by period so we can identify which are our sort of high volume products. And we see the one product that is high volume is our Nugro Glucose 1500 180T. In fact, we can quickly get a feel for this and we can identify that this Nugro Glucose as such is about nearly 10% of our total revenue. So we know this is a fairly significant product. What we want to do is to understand how effective we are at pricing our fairly significant product items within our portfolio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move from here to our customers by period. So I can see all the customers who are buying my Nugro Glucose product, and I'll go straight into products, identify where my Nugro Glucose is, and I find my Nugro Glucose. It is that one over there. And I move into revenue so I can get a quick feel for the volume of my Nugro Glucose product. And I understand that what I'm looking at is only my Nugro Glucose. There it is. And I notice all the customers that are buying my Nugro Glucose. And I've sorted my customers from best to worst to understand how their purchasing patterns are being driven within at least the last 12 months. Of course, I can look at this in different time frames if I wish. It's also interesting to see how a specific customer's purchasing habits are being driven. And the way I do that mainly is by units. And I can quickly get a feel for this. And I see my Healthy Living Eastland, total of 829 units. And I can get a quick feel for its purchasing pattern. I notice that there is a reasonably erratic form of purchasing, but the purchasing trend is upward. So that's a good thing. All right, let me move straight into our key objective. Now, the way we do this is relatively easy. We go to our average selling price per unit. So therefore, we just go to revenue per unit, which shows what our average selling price is per unit. And I notice that I have a variety of unit pricing from $39 per pack right down to about $26 per pack. So automatically, I'm starting to see possibly the impact of some of my discounts that I have in my business. And I'm trying to understand a little bit about what's happening. And the easiest way for me to understand this is to simply go into, and in this case, I just want to look at the various market segments to see how my discounting is impacting the various segments. And the key segments that buy my Nugro Glucose product are the bakeries. Well, in fact, I noticed that bakery, in fact, let me just do my traffic lights quickly. Bakery has only bought it in 1 month, so I'm not really too concerned about that. But in terms of my Healthy Genesis segment, I do see that there is a fairly significant price fluctuation between an average of $29.80 and even $30 as well. So that's quite interesting. The $30 environment, let me quickly go and have a look and see what that's all about and who actually managed to get a reasonably good price out of that. And we see it was Jamie, Paul, and Josh. So we're quite happy with those guys. Actually, we're not really, because the margins are fairly low. So that's something we may have to address. But what we do see is that the highest pricing that we're achieving per unit is in, at least in terms of the higher volume areas, is in the Healthy Genesis and the Healthy Living area. So these are going to be the areas that we really need to focus on. Let me quickly go to my Healthy Genesis area and see all those customers in the Healthy Genesis area. And here we understand the total portfolio of our customers within the Healthy Genesis area, which allows us to quickly identify any specific pricing issues within this area. And in fact, what we do see is that there's certain customers, for example, Health Generation Bankston is getting an average pricing of about $30 versus some of the others, which is a little bit lower than that. Automatically, we're starting to get a feel for the differentiation of how we are pricing our various customers. Now we can maybe do some corrective action.